I'm picking up the last 60 kilometres or so of stage 14 of the 2023 Tour de France. This is the first of this year's stages to enter the Alps proper. It's started off in Annemass and then we'll be finishing in Morzine and the Portes du Soleil. So despite not being in the high Alps proper, this is very much a mountain stage. Packs in over 4,000 metres of ascent in the relatively meagre 150 kilometres of the stage, which is quite a lot. In other words, it's barely flat, so very little respite for the riders today. So it has 3 category 1 climbs and then finishes off with the HC climb of the Col de Joux Plane and then into Morzine. So, plus a few smaller climbs as well. So yeah, a hell of a lot of climbing, despite only going up to 1,600 metres elevation. So the stage departs Annemass at around about 1, or just after 1, and zigzags its way round about the foothills of the Alps just south of Lake Geneva for 60 odd kilometres until it gets to here where I am in Saint-Jour or Saint-Jour or something. And yeah, should get here around about 3:30 before starting the climb of the Col de Joux, which is where I'll be picking up from now. So this is the 3rd category 1 climb of the day, but it's a toughie. It's around 13 kilometres, averaging at 7.5% or so, but it's got a couple of kilometres towards the end that average over 10%. So yeah, pretty tough. And you've still got the Col de Joux Plane to come after this, so yeah, I'm in for a hard afternoon and the tour riders are in for a hard day. This first section of climbing is pretty wide, pretty fast road, not very steep, probably only about 3 or 4%, and probably doesn't count towards the actual categorised climb, but still, you are climbing. So I just turned off the main road in Morzine and the climbing proper starts here. Straight away we're into a ramp of around about 7%, and yeah, continues on around about 7% for the whole 13-14 kilometres with a couple of brief respites around halfway up and then a steepening at around 10% towards the end. So yeah, pretty tough for category 1 climb. Mont Blanc in the distance, pretty stunning views. Most of this climbing on south facing slopes, so there's no escaping the heat. And of course the Tour de France will be coming up here in the heat of the afternoon around 3 o'clock, so it could be pretty brutal. You start pretty low down at around 600 metres, so yeah, it's gonna be hot, hot, hot. I'm pretty sure the road goes through that notch in the cliffs up there, so pretty impressive. Starting to get serious now. This next kilometre is 9% according to that previous sign, which would mean the next one's probably the 10 or 11% one. Yeah, you certainly feel that it's starting to ramp up. 5 kilometres to go. This is the steepest and hardest kilometre. Those signs say it's 10%. Tour de France profile says it's 11.5%. Either way, it's pretty steep, and I'm cooked. Col de Joux, the 3rd major categorised climb of the day, like the 4th or 5th climb actually in total. The first for me though. We've still got the mighty Col de Joux Plane to come, so yeah, still plenty of riding to be done from here, but you should definitely start to see pretty big gaps in the peloton and indeed in the actual GC race after this point, and more gaps should develop on the way down because it's a reasonably fast technical descent as well. But yeah, from here down towards the ski resort town of San Juan, and then yeah, up over the Joux Plane and into Morzine. So there's a little bit of up and down just over the top of the col when you're in the ski station of San Juan, but then once you pass this, it's pretty fast, pretty smooth, rolling, sweeping descent, on good roads, good wide roads, so yeah, you can definitely enjoy this descent and expect the tour riders to be absolutely flying at this point, especially if they've got the luxury of closed roads. So the tour will actually be coming down this bit of road twice, today on stage 14 and again next day after the depart from the J on stage 15. Indeed, in theory I'm only doing it twice today as well. Yeah, it's a pretty fast descent down to Taninge and then towards Samoine. This is one of the few truly flat sections of the stage between Taninge and Samoine, so it's a chance for people to regroup after the inevitable gaps which open up on the fast descent and start working together again. Although it's not very big at all, so if anyone actually manages to get some distance in them over the col, they've got a reasonable chance of being able to stay away from whoever's chasing them, be it the peloton or the rest of the breakaway group, so yeah. So despite not being in the proper high mountains, you still expect an out-and-out climber to win today's stage because it's got a hell of a lot of climbing in it and it's tough climbing as well. Or indeed a GC contender, which you could argue this year is the same thing because there's virtually no time trialling. At least there's no flat time trialling anyway. Then Tom Pidcock and Van Aert have shown in recent years that a modern all-rounder is quite capable of winning a pretty brutal climbing stage, so you never know, something out of the unusual could happen again. There's a reasonable chance of the breakaway staying away, as though there's loads and loads of climbing. None of the climbs on their own are particularly big or high or long, so yeah, it all depends on how much the GC riders want it. If any of them fancy a stage win, or if they're just happy to let the break go and just mark each other over each of the cols. So, could be interesting, but we shall see. This is the edge of Samoine and the start of the final climb of the day, the Col de Joux Plane. It should be around 4:30, much like I am now. And the weather's like it is today, it's going to be absolutely scorching for them. I'm not looking forward to the climb, to be honest. So the climb's just over 11 kilometres at an average gradient of about 8.5%. But only tells half the story because like 4 of the 5 final kilometres are at around 10%. So it's got a brutally tough, steep finish. So I've actually covered this climb before on my Classic Tour de France climb series. I did it last summer. It's not going to go over the whole thing in detail, but I did a different start then. I mean, it's still just a valid start, but it's not the start they usually take on the tour. So I'll show you the start they're actually taking this year and the one they usually take. And then from then on, probably won't film much, because yeah, you can watch the video they made last year, which I'll link above. So this is the start just coming up now on the left. Road straight away. This climb's steeper and more direct than the one I took in my video. That's why the tour usually comes this way. So yeah, it makes it an already difficult climb even more tough. It's a pretty brutal finish to this stage. This isn't the Queen stage, but still definitely one of the toughest stages of the tour this year. I think this is a 9 or 10% ramp straight away. I expect there'll be a lot of spectators for this bit, which is already a pretty narrow road because we're right on the edge of town. It's going to feel pretty crowded, pretty busy. So yeah, it's going to be tough. So this road joins the other road, I think. So yeah, a brief easing in gradient here. Doesn't last long though. Yeah, my other video can take over from now on. See you at the top, or somewhere near the top. Here it is, the final bend on the Col de Joux Plane. Expect this to be absolutely packed with spectators on the race day. What a beautiful climb. What a brutal climb. The stats do not do it justice at all. There we are. Absolutely beautiful at the top. I probably said this before, but I'll say this again. The gradients on the kilometre marker signs are wildly inaccurate. It says the penultimate kilometre is 5%, and according to the Tour de France profile it's 9.1%, and then the final kilometre is only 2%, whereas according to the Tour de France profile it's 8%, so huge difference. And indeed there's a kilometre about halfway up where it says it's only 7%, and it's probably got ramps of over 15% in it, so yeah. They lull you into a very false sense of security. But anyway, the views are absolutely stunning when you get up here. Not that the pros will be able to enjoy them, of course, but amazing view of Mont Blanc over there. Don't know if the GoPro camera's good enough to pick it out. But so climbing's not quite over when you get to the top of the col. There's actually a secondary subsidiary col, the Col de Joux Plane, I think, which is just one kilometre of around 2 or 3%, but still, it's not quite all downhill yet. But then yeah, after that, a fast descent into Morzine for the finish line. So some years the tour will finish at the top of the col, others it finishes with this downhill finish, but yeah. And there's Mont Blanc. Long way away. And the final little climb of the day. Just a mere bump in the road really compared to what we've done, but your legs will be feeling it by now. And of course it's a lot steeper than the official gradient suggests because it's less than a kilometre really. Probably only 400 or 500 metres. Now it finally is all downhill from here. So time to do the helmet up again, hold on tight, and I'll see you at the finish line. So here we are in the mountain bike mecca of Morzine and the Portes du Soleil, the finish line for stage 14 of this year's tour. There's actually a final kick at the end to get up to the finish line, just on the other side of the valley over there. I'm not going to head that way because I'm still a long way from home and it's getting pretty late. But yeah, if you enjoyed what you've seen so far, then do the usual like and subscribe, all that rubbish. And tune in tomorrow for stage 15 and more ski bum in Lycra.